something about the three of us together and connectivity. And then it grew from there. Then she wanted to see my letters to my daughter. That's how the Grace book even came. I had to blow dust off of them. They never would have been published if Mary hadn't asked me. And
reading them was one of the most profound experiences of my life. Yes.
If anyone hasn't read those three books, go out and get it today. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
But we were shy, but kept going. You know, no matter what happened, you can't stop it. Once the genie's out of the bottle, it's like you just, there's no going back. None.
That's a really good way of putting a way we can recognize the truly sacred or the truly spiritual that comes within us. It's like, you can't not do it.
Yes.
If it's a call,
Yes.
you know, if it's something, it's not going to leave you alone. Like I said, I was sort of a reluctant, person doing this, but you will not be able to not do it. It's like you have to give yourself to it. And then once you do, it's such a total commitment. It's like having a child. It's like it's birthed out of you, and there is no way you're going to let that. I mean, like for me, it's like nobody better come up. Nobody better. There's just certain things, It's like anybody can take this course to their heart, and as much as they want and write about it and wonderful stories, but what I am protective of is the end of learning. Because I don't want people to teach it, I don't want people to study it. I want this new way to have a chance to be birthed. And this is how it's going to happen, is by not going to your mind, not looking for meaning. It's like, you said it, in Course in Miracles really too, I mean, did you ever see a straightforward sentence in A Course in Miracles? I mean, maybe three, And the same thing is true here. It's like, it's purposely making us do some of the work, or, we have to take it in, and we can interpret it in different ways. But as it goes on, it's very clear about this is the end of learning. Mm-hmm. And that is the enormous implications of that. I don't even know how to describe them or even imagine them yet. But as Mary and I know, we are coming to know together. In relationship, we have come to know together so many times, and I bet many of you have too. Like you get together, you haven't seen each other for a while, and it's like, oh man, I just had this most incredible thought, and your friend says she did have too. I mean, this
We're
is not...
sharing it already. That's great. Yeah.
And even more profoundly, can I share the experience of the silence?
That's Whisper it to me. Oh, yeah. That's right. But I had another silence thing. But no, this is fine. This silence is a shared space. No, it's all good. It's all good. I had one from my husband, which I'll say later.
Okay. Yeah, can I whisper in your ear? But, these are sacred things. Sometimes something is so sacred that you don't want to share it widely. You want to hold it close in your heart and maybe share it with only a couple of people. And that's okay. I mean, this is something a little different. But don't ever think that you have to do anything you don't want to do. But I know there's something going on now with holding this within. The word within is used over and over and over again. It's all the within. And my feeling, now I'm not a metaphysicist or anything, but my feeling is it has to do with feelings. It's that we have come too far away from our feelings, and we need to have the heart speaking to us again, and we need to honor the heart, and honor what we want to hold close, you know. So I do check about that, and in this was a very stunning experience for both of us. We sit in my sunroom office every Wednesday, and we have coffee, and I make peanut butter sandwiches. That's what I do. I make myself 3 peanut butter folds, I make her 2. We sit there, we talk, we have peanut butter and coffee. And so we were done, right? I think we were about getting ready to go. And we were both sitting there, and suddenly, this silence descended on me. And I'm looking at her, and I realize after a couple of minutes, neither of us are talking, and we're just sitting there, and I think, are you thinking of silence? Was that
Yes,
the way I wanted to?
yes. I said it's the holy, it was holy.
It was.
There was no question of it. And I said the holy silence is here.
The holy silence.
Everything was received actually through that silence. It was so beautiful. It was the stuffed tears are made.
Yes. And then we felt warmth.
Yes.
And so it was like,
yes. It just
did
this
you feel
energy.
that warmth?
Spirit. Yes, exactly.
Exactly. But you've asked about Mother Mary and the new work that's coming. And Mother Mary's way is, not very well spelled out, but it's receptivity, it's of the heart, and it's the new way. It's declared that it's going to be the new way. And one of the things that she speaks of, and that was only mentioned one time in A Course of Love, is the imaginal. And I'll tell you about that a little bit. Okay. Between chapter 19 and 20 of The Course of Love. There were only twice that I was paused. Otherwise, for 3 years, the receiving was pretty much every day, or except when I was really busy or something. And after I'd received chapter 19, Oneness and Duality, in which one of the phrases in there is, out of the deepest, darkest chaos of your mind comes the possibility of light. It's a really strong sentence. And Jesus is talking in this chapter 19 sort of about a review of life. But I was ready to just go on, this is how it had happened, chapter 19, chapter 20, okay. And so when I went back to begin chapter 20, as had been happening naturally with all the others, I didn't hear anything, and I started to get worried, and when I finally heard something, it was, you can't go on with your thinking mind. And I would never set anything up as a precedent, so maybe around that time you'll be feeling this or that, I'd never do that, but there will come a point, I guarantee you, that you will have to release your thinking mind. And then in the next chapter, I was paused for 10 weeks, I was diagnosed as anemic, I was menopausal at 44, Mary and Julie did a healing on me, I was like in a panic because, oh my God, if I can't stop thinking, I can't finish receiving. And of course, I knew already how precious it was, how new it was. And so, finally, when we come back, It's the embrace, the chapter on the embrace, the most beautiful chapter in the course. And in one of the paragraphs, he says, "You are no longer the I of the ego. From here, life becomes imaginal." And we don't hear that word imaginal again. But Way of Mary is speaking of the imaginal. And it's really about the joining of the realms. It is about what's happening sort of individually now, then happening between a couple. And it is this knowing where it's a mystical awareness, almost like it's, and I can let Mary talk a minute and find, I brought just one little piece from the Way of Mary that's on the imaginal. And I can find that on my computer and give you the first public reading from it. Should I do that?
Yes.
My field is your field. This is what I am helping you to see. We are together now to save this world so that heaven on earth can come to be. As you have with the words of my son, you have pondered these words as if on a back burner of time, and did not let them invade you. Some words are an invasion, a taking over, meant to seize you in your tracks, stop you, start you, cause you to move with new vigor and valor. Only now are they in you in this way, a taking over. My son, your brother, spoke to you of an in-between time, of the twin circles of one way passing and a new way coming into being. Yes, my son is still my son, the son of God and a son of woman, holy and human in origin and nature, attached to the earth and to all that grows within. The within is the incubator of all that can come to be, the womb of the imaginal realm, of all that exists between heaven and the earth, held separately and out of reach. The reach is within. It begins in a mother's heart. It is a yearning for life. And that was not the one I was going to read you, but that was very powerful, wasn't it?
It's the one Mary wanted us to know.
Different does it feel to receive from Mary and how you receive from Jesus? I mean, just on experience level, is there, can you say something about that?
It does feel more experiential, and I don't know exactly what I mean by that, but it's growing. It's my sense is of this imaginal realm. So if you want to think of this realm as being maybe the imagination of the spheres, the imagination of consciousness of all of us. But there's a sense, it has to do with time. This is the exciting thing. Mary and I had this from the beginning. This thing about time, the end of ordinal time. And this is something about the end of time. And it's the joining of the realms. And I felt it like a whirlwind. You know, like there's a realm that's swirling into this time. And I've actually felt two, like twin worlds. So I don't know what this means. It's like it is something, but I didn't have hardly anything I would call experiences except for getting paused and brought back, which was very heartbreaking and satisfying. But and she's got this incredible sense of radical fierceness and this absolute gentleness. She's said more nice things to me about me than Jesus ever said.
Men, yeah. Oy vey, these men.
Is there an estimated publication
I would guess I maybe have a year of receiving left, and then a year after that. So probably 2 years. But it's, I feel that we're ready. We're ready for, and so many people are hearing and receiving. And for some, it's only meant for them. You know, you keep it to your heart, and it's something for you. And for some, they want to share it. And some will resonate with way more people, and some will resonate only with a few. But we do have communication. We have more help right now. This is the way I feel. We've got incredible help from every realm of existence,
Yes.
which also sort of is within us. You know, this sort of rests within us, and yet it is everything. So that's the one and the whole, you know, and we try to make it too literal. It's not literal. It is imaginal. So if we begin to feel and think more imaginally, and yes, it's the perfect time for Christina to come here. Yes, absolutely. She has a way of explaining this that is so beautiful, and she wrote something.
I never really
that's on the
understood why
table.
Larry, he wanted me to bring that
Yeah.
particular little article.
Yeah.
So it's over on the table, it was in the back of the room these last several days.
I don't understand.
Oh, really?
What
The
was
word in it is a paper I wrote a couple 3 years ago, but it was about my experience with the Course of Miracles and the Course of Love, working together beautifully hand in hand in my life. But the way I wrote it was using the metaphor of metamorphosis, which is in A Course of Love, but also I was weaving in the science of it. So the connection is that the word imaginal is a scientific word. It refers to the DNA stem cell-like material in every living organism. So if you pick out the piece of paper over there, it's
Those
a
are the
summary of the
spirals.
article.
Yes.
But then you can go on a link if you want to read the whole thing. It's on my website.
It's
But the point
worth it.
is,
It's worth it.
the point is that when the chrysalis is formed, when the caterpillar stops eating and weaves this chrysalis, what happens inside of it is everything breaks down. If we were to cut open a chrysalis, you wouldn't find a half caterpillar, half butterfly. It would just pour out onto the ground, this ooze, because it's breaking down every single particle of this caterpillar creature. And yet,
Breaking down to let
in
go of
that
the
breaking
capitalization.
down, one thing thrives, and those are the imaginal cells. We have those cells, that DNA in our body. It's in there. They are not affected by the breakdown chemicals. So when the breakdown is complete, when every bit of stuff has been cleared, transmuted, transmogrified, whatever word we want to use, the imaginal cells come alive. They wake up. They start talking to each other.
Yes.
They start communicating.
Yes. Yes.
Because amongst them together, they form the entire blueprint of the butterfly. But they can start communicating, and then the butterfly starts forming. And that's what we're doing now. Our DNA is transforming. We're waking up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're finding each other.
Yes.
Yes.
And together we're co-creating
They
the
try.
world. We are landing it in form
And before
from
we
the
wake
imaginal
up,
realm.
we're dissolving.
We have to dissolve.
So it's,
Hey, we've been dissolved. I've been dissolved for 35, 40 years.
I'd like to have dissolve about 30 pounds.
I don't know where I was at, but I'm kind of tired of dissolving. I want to kind of begin posturing with imaginary vowels. Okay, that's all I have to say.
I think people used to, translate that dissolving into no self.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
And not be afraid
Yes.
of the disappearance of
Yes.
the old and the
Yes.
unshaping, the undoing of my life is what's been happening, undoing, yeah.
You have to rely on that
Yeah,
old self
exactly.
for the new to come forward.
Exactly.
Yes.
And trust that all that's needed will remain. Nothing that's needed is going to get dissolved.
No.
If it's being dissolved, you don't need it.
Yes, yes.